Is Hakainde Hichilema against Zambia's constitutional reforms? And why does he say Africa needs leaders to run their countries like CEOs? Can the United Party for National Development survive without him? And how can the World Economic Forum help advance Africa's development? What time is it? It's question time. Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Mpho Tseidu. The political and socio-economic climate in the southern African country of Zambia continues to be characterized by a weak economy, falling coal price, as well as deteriorating infrastructure. Economic challenges and unemployment were key campaign priority areas during last year's presidential elections, or rather during the last presidential elections that saw Patriotic Front's Edgar Lungu elected to replace the late President Michael Sata. The United Party for National Development multi-millionaire leader Hakainde Hichilema, HH as he is popularly known, lost the vote to President Lungu by just under 2%. Hichilema castigated the polls as a sham, alleging irregularities and vote rigging. Meanwhile, Zambia's Young African Leaders Initiative has blamed HH for playing double standards on the issue of constitutional reforms. This is question time, and remember that we are a live program. Therefore, you can air your views on the following numbers. If you're calling us from within South Africa, 089 110 4210. And if you're calling from outside the borders of the country, 002789 110 4210. The numbers are on the screen. My guest, the man himself, Hakainde Hichilema, is the leader of the United Party for National Development. And on the line, we should be joined by Andrew Ntewewe, who's the president of Young African Leaders Initiative, YALI. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Paul, and good day, listeners.
I must say that you are one of the richest people I've ever spoken to. What kind of a politician are you who's so wealthy?
I think maybe that's, Paul, not too important in relative terms. I think the most important thing is that what can we do together? Mm-hmm. We, the peoples of Africa, to help our citizens who have no opportunity for a better life. I think that's extremely important to us.
Yes. Yeah. Now, doesn't it disturb you that you are leading a political party which is supposed to be representing the poor, yet you are very wealthy?
I think the opposite is actually correct, in the sense that we should see politics as a service to the population. We should not see politics as a source of livelihood. I think that's what we need to change. Africa must agree that we need a new generation of leaders that seek public office to better the lives of people, to create opportunities for the people, not for themselves. And I think, sadly, this is what is obtaining in many African countries. We need to move away from there.
Okay. I'm going to talk about perhaps the role of the opposition in Zambia, but I just want to get this thing out of the way. You know that a lot of people have been talking a lot in Zambia about how corrupt you are yourself.
That's news.
How did you amass the wealth that you have?
I think, Paul, far from that assertion, far from it. The issue is really for creating opportunities for other young people.
Yes.
To have the opportunities that we had.
Exactly.
And that...
the reason why I'm asking this question is because I think you are a role model to a large extent, because Zambians would love to know, how can a 53-year-old man be as rich as you are?
Well, look, first you must consider these things in relative terms. You must know that there are a lot of richer people out there who are much younger than me. I think the important thing is that those countries where such people come from have created opportunities for their people. And I think that's the most important thing, to give our young people the best inheritance. What is that? Education. Give them a skill set that delivers an opportunity for them to compete in the job market, for them to have an opportunity to do business.
Yeah, but
I think that's the most important thing.
But surely you didn't get your wealth out of education. I mean, you have what? 90,000 cattle in central and southern provinces, valued at over what? 700 million rand. Ranches in Choma. You've got more than 20,000 animals in one ranch and 35,000 in other ranches. You are big.
I have consistently, though in a short space of time, said that's less important. I think it's also important.
Think people should know how to make this money?
The issue, Mpo, is that the responsibility of anyone in public office is to create opportunities for their people to advance.
Okay.
That I think what is the most important.
How do I become an HH? How can I at my age be like you?
There will be no other Mpo.
Yeah.
That's not the way to look at things. The way to look at things is that we create opportunities for all.
Okay.
Those who seek those opportunities must find them. And for the young people, my dear friend, it starts with education, it starts with the skills. It then obviously prepares these young people to own an asset called education, called skills. That opens the door or the doors for them through employment or business opportunity.
Okay.
There is no other way, because any other way is not genuine, is not acceptable.
So it's not true that you stole money during the transformation, the economic transformation?
I would have been in jail, Paul. Believe me.
No, but you are a very well-connected man. You have even said it, that you even get intelligence information before...
No, hang on. Hang on. I would have been in jail.
Yeah.
The current government would jump at an opportunity to lock Hakainde up, to lock HH up.
Sure.
They have tried to do that. You are in the media, you are aware.
Sure.
I'm not even allowed to go in a shop to buy salt.
You don't need that. You own Pick n Pay.
No, hang on. That's not true. That's not true. You get me into trouble. I don't own Pick n Pay at all. It's some of the falsehoods being projected so that I can look back in the eyes of the people of Zambia, the people of Africa as a whole. And this is a negative side of politics that we want to move away from. The negativity, the pull him or pull her down syndrome. More to positive thinking, more to opportunity creation. That is really what we stand for. I think that's important to our people. It's important to the citizens of Africa, citizens of Zambia included.
Has it not made life difficult for you to be an opposition who is, I don't know if I must refer to your wealth again, but yeah.
Opposition in Zambia, in Africa, it's a difficult role to play.
Yeah.
Because there's lack of understanding of competition in the political arena. By many of our colleagues who are in public office, they see competitors as enemies. It shouldn't be like that. They should see competitors as challengers in the process of bettering service delivery to our people. And because of that wrong perception of opposition or competitors, restrictions are created. Restrictions such as, for example, in our country, where the Public Order Act, a piece of legislation called the Public Order Act, is abused to restrict freedoms of individuals like those in the opposition. Freedom of expression, freedom of movement, freedom of assembly are being restricted. And how can you compete in an environment where others are free to associate when we are not? I think this is an issue. This is where we need to move away.
Would Zambia have been safe under your leadership?
No question about that. I think that is really the issue. We look at politics differently. To serve, not just to serve, but to serve in a superior way. To basically focus on good economic management, because it creates value for our people. Jobs, poverty reduction, and indeed other opportunity areas. That's what Zambians are missing. That's what Africans are missing.
Hold the thought there. I want us to take a quick break. When we return, though, I want us to bring on the line the Young African Leaders Initiative, because they've been very vocal about you. This is Question Time. Please don't go away.
SABC News seeks to be the biggest, the most extensive and diverse news organization on the continent. Our mission is to provide accurate and credible news and current affairs programming throughout the day. We are committed to covering every part of the continent. We reflect the world to Africa and Africa to the world. SABC News, Africa's news leader. Now available throughout the continent.
Welcome back. You're still watching Question Time. My guest today, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, is the leader of the United Party for National Development in Zambia. And on the line now, we are joined by Andrew Ntewe, who is the president of Young African Leaders Initiative. Andrew, welcome to Question Time. A quick one. You have released some statements which were very hard on the person of Mr. Hichilema here. I don't know if it's something that you only say through press releases, or it's an opinion that you would be able to express even now. What do you think of HH?
First of all, I'm very glad for having me on the program. Thank you very much. And also, I would like to also express my gratitude and say hi to the president of the United Party for National Development, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema. Now, the position of the Young African Leaders Initiative has been very clear, and I'm going to speak on behalf of YALI, and I'll give you the opinion that we have as the Young African Leaders Initiative relating to the constitutional reform process. And I also express some misgivings relating to how our political parties, our political leaders, have handled the constitutional reform process for a very long time now.
Okay. Now, how would you have expected the UNDP to respond to this statement, which yourselves are? I mean, if I may read something which you said that Mr. Hichilema's latest directive to his members of parliament to vote against parliamentary amendments to the Constitution is an insult to the independence, intelligence and integrity of his own honorable MPs. And you even went to an extent of saying they must resign.
First of all, you have to understand where we're coming from as a country and the type of democracy that we have. The type of democracy that we have is representative democracy, where we have members of parliament representing individual constituencies. In essence, what is expected is the fact that members of parliament have to get instructions from their constituents, from the citizens that actually elect them to become their MPs. But it saddens us, for instance, when leaders of opposition political parties and even the leader of the government, is so to say, for the PF, if, for instance, they would come out and direct members of parliament to vote in a certain way. We think that that is the wrong way to go about things, because the people have been elected to represent the wishes and aspirations of the people.
Yeah, but those people cannot hold meetings every day, Andrew. Those people who have elected them cannot hold meetings every day to give them directives and mandate. Surely they should be taking their mandate from their political leadership.
That's not the way it's supposed to happen.
How is it supposed to happen?
They may not be very aware What is supposed to happen is the fact that they are supposed to speak and make decisions on the basis of the decisions of the citizens from the grassroots levels.
So who told you that those citizens don't want... Wait, Andrew. Who told you that those citizens don't want what HH told the MPs to do?
No, the most important thing here is the fact that there's a directive that has been given. To the extent that the independence and the judgment of the members of parliament has already been polarized. One would expect that members of parliament are supposed to make judgments on the basis of what the people of Zambia have actually said to their members of parliament.
Now,
but in a situation where, for instance, an opposition leader gives direction, it polarizes the judgment of the members of parliament.
All right. Now, are you in any way a political formation?
The Young African Leaders Initiative is an independent organization that grooms young leaders to promote democracy, good governance, and the human rights in Zambia.
Whose principles are you using of democracy? Because we know that democracy is interpreted in various ways. If you cannot take what HH says to his leaders, I mean to his MPs, and you say, well, basically we don't want that, we think the leaders should rather resign, how else really would you have wanted this matter to be handled?
The truth of the matter is the fact that HH being an opposition leader,
yes,
and the biggest opposition leader right now in Zambia, so to say,
yes,
was supposed to have allowed the judgment of the members of parliament to make their individual decisions. And the reason why we are saying this is because HH is very much aware where we've come from in terms of constitutional reform. He's aware that this country has been looking for a constitution for a very long period of time. And Zambians yearn for a new constitution.
Now, how do we know that you are not pursuing an American program here? Because you are funded by America, after all.
So many non-government organizations are funded by different organizations, different countries.
You are not disputing what I'm saying.
And it's also very important. It's very important for you to also understand that we're not only supported by the United States government.
Yes.
We're supported by different governments. We have got support from the British government. We have got support from the Dutch government. We have got support from very different independent foundations all over the world. And this is how non-government organizations operate in Zambia, because they cannot operate with internal resources. These resources come from outside. But ultimately, the truth of the matter is the fact that we retain independence in terms of how we do things.
Let me just give Mr. Chiroma an opportunity to respond to this, and perhaps talk to him directly, if you will.
Yeah, Paul, thanks very much for creating this opportunity for us to respond to Andrew. Andrew's position ought to be respected, but his position is flawed in many areas, very contradictory. In Zambia, we moved away from a one-party state to a multi-party state. Members of parliament, by and large, including councillors, go to the council chambers, go to parliament on party tickets.
Yes.
And these parties have policies, have positions on various issues. We have positions on economic matters, social matters, education, health. We have positions on how we believe the economy can be turned around. On the Constitution, Mpo, we have a position that has been espoused by the people of Zambia over a 30-year period. And this position is that the current Constitution, in its entirety, as it is structured, has failed the people of Zambia. It's a constitution that was lifted from a one-party state into a multi-party state, which does not create, allow for the creation of institutions, checks and balances that are essential in a multi-party state, in a state where competition for office to serve, competition to serve, basically, they're not there. So now, Andrew, let me just complete this process, because I think Andrew got quite a lot of time to say what he was saying. And it's really nice that people like Andrew and I should talk back home and face each other. Andrew knows that from the early 90s, the people of Zambia wanted to replace, or want to replace, the whole constitution with a new one, because that's the correct thing to do. Amendments of the constitution have not delivered the intended results. A people-driven constitution, one which will stand the test of time. Andrew knows that. And he's shifting his position for convenience. And this is unacceptable. So we in the UPND are not alone in this position. Consistently, the various constitutional review commissions, from the Mvunga Commission in the 90s, Mwanakatwe Commission of Inquiry on the Constitution, Mungomba Constitutional Review Process, the National Constitutional Conference, have all talked about replacing the whole Constitution with a new one. Now, Andrew is advocating, and he has just changed his position, from that position to a piecemeal amendment, which has not worked for the people of Zambia, has cost Zambians a lot of money, which could have been applied in a developmental areas. A lot of money is required to advance agriculture, tourism, finance areas, so that we can create jobs. This is the West that we do not want, wastage of resources. This is the reason we are standing on this position and directing the UPND members of parliament, including others, just one little moment, is to advance the interests of the people of Zambia, which has been expressed over a 30-year period. I don't know what Andrew is talking about. It is not gagging the members of parliament. It's how representation in a democracy works. Why don't we have the majority of the members of parliament on independent tickets? We have them on party tickets because it is a collective. And he must understand that. And I'm surprised a young guy can easily switch positions for convenience.
Well, you had it. Andrew, do you have something to say quickly before I continue?
Yes, I have a lot to say, actually.
No, I need you to just say something shortly. Yeah.
Exactly. I am going to be discussing what Mr. Hichilema has talked about in terms of the amendment of the entire constitution via a referendum. Our argument as a Young African Leaders Initiative is the fact that right now Mr. Hichilema is much aware that the current constitution provides the National Assembly and Parliament as a means of making amendments. The only aspect of a constitution that you can refer to a referendum is the Bill of Rights. That's the first point I wanted to address.
All right.
The second most important point is the fact that, hello?
All right. You hold it there. Hold it there. I need to take a call. Chumina, you're calling us from Zambia. Welcome to Question Time.
Thank you very much, Impo. Yes, this is Shumina calling from Kaoma, Zambia.
Okay.
Can I declare interest that I've been a member of parliament in the MMD with a position of provincial secretary, and a member of parliament in the opposition, the FDD, as such whip, and I've been a member of in parliament and a member of both the Mungomba Constitutional Conference and the NCC, a former diplomat. HH is correct. Zambia has been struggling to put in place a constitution that shall be acceptable by the majority of the people of Zambia. HH is also correct on the fact that when you are in a multi-party system, right, you go to parliament on the policy and direction of the political party you belong to. The PF had actually suspended 10 MPs when they wanted to participate in the NCC. And Zambians are not talking about that. And when you are in parliament and the chief whip cracks the third party whip, it is known in the common world that you vote with the party of your choice.
Shumina, let me thank you for the call. I have to cut you there because we ran out of time. I want to allow you to quickly respond. The World Economic Forum, what are you expecting out of it?
Great opportunity. I think for us in the UPND, for us in Zambia, this is a time to compare notes with others from different parts of the world on best practices. You know, we live in a global village. And we who seek public office in Africa, around the world, need to seek public office to go and serve better. And to go and put policies, to go and provide a vision that will help turn around our economies so that we can create jobs, we can create business opportunities for our people, and through that, we can look after those that are underprivileged. The children in education, the sick through our health care service delivery system. And I want to say, Paul, at this stage, that this networking is important so that we do not need to reinvent the wheel. We don't need, as Africans, to continue doing things that don't work for us. We can't share poverty. We can only share value.
HH.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Am I shaking the hand of the next president of Zambia?
God's will, courtesy of the people of Zambia.
Okay.
Thank you.
All the best.
Thank you. Thank you, Paul.
That was question time for today, and a big thank you to my guests and for you also for watching the show, to you for watching the show as well. Our email address, questiontime@sabc.co.za. Twitter handle @questiontime24. You can also follow me on Twitter @MpotsEdu. From me and the crew, have yourself a wonderful time. Goodbye.